everyone, and welcome to today's Gentle Flow. I hope that you have had a beautiful day so far and you are ready to get into a really lovely heart and hip opening practice. So today I've got a little part of my yoga studio set up with some crystals and candles and sage to burn and Palo Santos and some aloe vera, just to make my space really nice and inviting for me, create this space that I want to come into and to practice in. So I wanted to just say to you guys that if you are able to create a little nook in your home for your practice or your workouts, it can really make a big difference in getting you motivated to actually get into that space every day and make it a part of your routine. So it's something that I have really loved doing. So yeah, just wanted to let you know, and that's why I have a little candle burning in the background, and it smells really delicious in here as well. So for our class, we're just going to firstly come into a really comfortable seat. If you'd like to lie down, that's totally fine. We won't be here for very long. We're going to find a really nice, comfortable seat and just start to allow ourselves to settle in. So just gently allowing the eyes to close down when you're ready, maybe on an exhale. Not forcing them closed, but just allowing yourself to sort of feel relaxed, maybe a little tired, and let those eyes close down. Just noticing how the spine is positioned right now as you sit here, perhaps doing a little bit of work to lengthen through the spine and create a little bit of space between the vertebrae. Rolling the shoulders back, allowing them to come down away from the ears. And just gently tucking the chin just slightly so that the back of the neck is long and we're not sticking the chin out in front. Once we find this really comfortable seat, we can bring our palms down to the base of the belly and just start to notice the movement of your breath. Just noticing the belly expanding and gently pulling back in towards the spine. And as you notice that movement of your breath, perhaps noticing its pace and its rhythm and how the body is arriving in your practice today. Noticing if you feel a little tense in the shoulders and the neck. Noticing if the breath is a little faster or a little shallower than you might have hoped for. And taking all of this information in, and rather than judging yourself or trying to force it to become deeper and slower, just allowing yourself to be in this state right now and just accepting where you are at the very beginning of your practice. Then from this state, perhaps setting an intention for what you would like to feel, experience, or work towards in today's yoga practice. So perhaps if you're feeling really tense, your intention might be to allow yourself to feel settled. If you're a little bit highly strung today, perhaps allowing yourself or having the intention to feel grounded. Whatever it is that is something that you really want to work towards in today's class, setting that intention. When you've set this intention, we're going to move into a really subtle pose. So if you're lying on your back, just making your way all the way back up to this comfortable seat. And we're just going to find a really simple pose right here from this seated position. And to come into this pose, we're just going to slide our left foot forward And take our right ankle on top of the left knee. So we're just stacking one ankle on top of the other knee and allowing this top knee to just hang above the bottom foot. This is called square pose. So the hands can be on the ankle and on the knee, or they can come down to the mat, fingertips pressing into the mat. And we're just going to feel a slight opening through the hips here, and just take 3 deep breaths in. And deep breaths out. One more deep breath in. Long, slow breath out. Very good. Then slowly starting to switch the legs over. Taking that right ankle under the left knee. Left ankle over the right knee. Finding that square pose on the other side. Again, fingertips can come down to the mat. Again, taking 3 deep breaths in and out here. Perhaps noticing everything starting to settle as you breathe a little deeper. Just one more breath in. And one more breath out. And then just ever so gently starting to take that left knee, reach that left foot around. So we're going to come down onto our hands and knees into our tabletop. So taking it really nice and slow now that we've got our breath nice and lengthened. We might feel a little bit more relaxed. And from here, moving into a little heart opening pose, just walking the hands right out in front and allowing the heart space to come all the way down towards the floor. The forehead can come onto the mat, finding puppy pose or melting heart pose, and just allowing yourself to feel this stretching through the front side of the body. And deeply breathing in and out here. Noticing that movement in the pose or within the pose as you breathe. Just one more deep breath in. One more deep breath out. Just starting to gaze forward between the palms now and shifting the weight forward over the forearms, coming all the way down onto the belly and the chest, and then coming into a prone position, getting ready to move into a little bit of spinal extension again to find our baby cobra. So palms are under our shoulders. We're pressing the lower body down into the floor, and then as you inhale, just gently lifting the shoulders, lifting the head. Exhale to lower back down. Inhale to lift the shoulders, lift the head. Exhale to release down, well done. One more time, this time maybe starting to press into the palms and move up to a full cobra or big cobra. Just as far as it feels good for your spine. Not trying to force yourself deeper into a back bend that you need to go right now at the beginning of our practice. And just taking a few moments here with this heart space open, with the shoulders rolled back. And feeling whatever is coming up for you in your body. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Let's roll all the way back down, releasing the chest down. From here, tucking the toes, pressing the palms into the mat and finding our downward facing dog. You might like to pedal out through the feet here, just bending one knee at a time, pressing into all 10 fingertips. Noticing the neck and the head and just trying to relax, release any tension and Try and keep yourself from looking between the palms at the front of the mat. Instead, just allowing the ears to come in line with the biceps. For everything in the neck and the jaw and the head to just be a little softer in this position. Let's just take one more breath in and one more breath out, starting to sink both heels down towards the mat. We're going to start to move into a flow. Let's take a deep breath in and lift our right leg high. Find your three-legged down dog. Hips stay squared towards the mat. And as you exhale, let's take that knee all the way in towards the nose. Inhale, let's take it back. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time, take it back. Three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to nose, round the spine. This time, step the foot between the palms, finding your low lunge or runner's lunge. Good. From here, we keep everything facing the front of the mat or the floor, the hips and shoulders facing the top of the mat. We start to rise up into our high lunge. When you get there, sink down a little lower, relaxing through the shoulders. Then as we breathe in, we're going to rise. As we breathe out, we're going to ebb and flow a little bit lower. Bending deeply through that right knee. Inhale, let's lift, lengthen the front leg, hands towards the ceiling. Exhale, sink a little lower through that front knee, hands down beside the hips. Very good, one more time, breathing in, reach high. This time, peeling that back heel down, open up, find warrior two. Arms out away from the shoulders. And again, we ebb and flow, inhale, rising. Straightening that front leg, hands above the head. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Good, keep going. Inhale, lift. Good, exhale, warrior 2. One more time, lift. Good, this time, both big toes towards the corners of the mat, we find goddess pose. Palms can be at the center of the chest, or maybe out by the sides of the body in a mudra. We lift one heel at a time and lower it down. Inhale to lift the other heel and lower it down. One more time on each side. Lowering it down. Inhale to lift. Lower it down. Good. Let's lift all the way back up to that star pose, reaching the legs long, arms long. And then exhale, find your warrior 2 on the other side, turning those right toes towards the back of the mat, bending through your left knee. Good. Let's breathe in, lift. Exhale to sink deep through that left knee. Inhale, lift. Good. Exhale, warrior 2. Beautiful. Inhale, lifting one more time. This time turning the chest and the hips towards the back of the mat. Pick up that back heel, finding our high lunge. And exhale, sink nice and low. Good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, lift. Exhale, deep bend in that front knee. One more time, lifting high. Exhale, coming all the way down. Bend through that front knee. Let's take our hands all the way down. Coming back to that runner's lunge or our low lunge. From here, we plant the hands down. Step your left foot back to meet the right. And let's move through our first chaturanga. Taking your time, let's lower the knees down here. Exhale, elbows bend straight back, lower the chest and the chin all the way down to the ground. Inhale to pull the heart space forward, lifting the shoulders, lifting the chin. Exhale to lower down. Tucking the toes and pressing into the palms. Find your downward facing dog, facing the back of your mat. Taking a few moments maybe to walk out through the feet here. Just breathing, perhaps even lowering the knees down and taking a little rest in child's pose if you need to. Just another 2 breaths before we start to move through that same sequence in the opposite direction. Good. After your next exhale, both heels sink down towards the ground. Let's take a deep breath in, lift your left leg high. As you exhale, let's pull that knee in towards the nose, round the spine. Inhale, lift it up and back. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, take it all the way back. Last time. Exhale, knee to nose, round the spine, and then step that foot between the palms. Coming into our low lunge or runner's lunge on the other side. So from here, let's start to reach up into our high lunge. Exhale to sink nice and low. Inhale, reach the arms high. Let's lengthen through that front leg. Exhale, sink down low. Inhale, one more time. Exhale, peel the heel down on the back foot, find your warrior 2. Good, continue this movement, lifting and lengthening. Exhale to find Virabhadrasana 2. Good. Inhale, let's lift and lengthen. Exhale, warrior 2. Last time, let's lift, lengthen all the way up towards the ceiling. Big toes face towards the corners of the mat. Find your goddess pose. Again, we lift one heel, lower it down. Other side, lift one heel, lower it down. Other side, lift and lower. Strong in the core and long through the spine. Last side, and lower. Good. Lift all the way up, find your star pose. Turn those left toes in towards the front of the mat and bend through your right knee. Virabhadrasana 2. We're facing the top of the mat again here. Good. Let's inhale, rise up towards the sky. Exhale, find Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, lengthen, lift. Exhale, warrior 2. Good. Let's lift. This time, let's pick up the back heel. Find your lunge. Very good. Turning the hips and the shoulders towards the front of the mat. And then sink a little lower. Let those hands come down beside the hips. Inhale to rise. Exhale to sink nice and low. Inhale to rise. Exhale, sink low. Just one more time, lifting, lengthening. And exhale, bend through that front knee. Let's take the hands down, finding that low lunge. Step the right foot back to meet the left. And let's find our chaturanga. Maybe this time you come through your full chaturanga. Up to you. Moving that weight forward over the palms. Bending through the elbows, straight back, lower down. Inhale to find your baby cobra or up dog. And exhale, pressing all the way back, downward facing dog. Very good. Taking a deep breath in here. And a deep breath out. From here, we lift that right leg high. Find your 3-legged down dog. Exhale, pulling the knee all the way in towards the chest. Step the foot between the palms, finding that low lunge. Let's lower the back knee down this time. You can stick the hips right over that back knee or lean a little further forward if you want a greater or a bigger hip flexor stretch on that left leg. Untucking the left toes, and you can sweep the arms all the way forward and overhead. Finding a slight back bend, being sure to create length through the spine instead of compressing in the lower back. Think about lifting the heart space up rather than bending further back. Very good. The gaze might come up between the palms if that feels good for the neck. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, let's start to move those hands down onto the inside of the right ankle. Good. Both hands on the inside of the right ankle. Let's tuck the left toes under. Start to turn the hips around. We're finding Skandasana pose. So finding that inside of the right knee with the right elbow. Skandasana. Sinking right down with the hips if you can, if it feels good. Noticing the stretch in the groin, the stretch in the hips. Let's start to shift across. If you can, if you would like to hold the floor, absolutely fine. Otherwise, hands at the heart space, moving all the way across. Sink down nice and low. Left elbow presses onto the inside of that left knee. Lifting up through the spine. Very good. When you're ready, both hands come down onto either side of your left knee, pivoting those hips around to turn towards the back of the mat. Let's lower that right knee down, back knee lowers down, knee up, toes untuck, and we start to lift the hands all the way overhead. Just being mindful that our knee isn't overshooting those toes on that front foot. So just taking your time to get nice and comfortable here. Then we might find a little bit of a back bend if it feels good. Being aware that you could also be here. Absolutely fine. Making sure that you're doing good things for your hips and your hip flexors instead of forcing yourself deeper than you need to go. So deep breath in. Exhale, let's let those hands come down, framing the front foot. Tuck your right toes under, lifting the knee. Step the left foot back to meet the right, and let's move through our chaturanga. Maybe again you take the knees down, or maybe it's a full chaturanga, your choice. Deep breath in to lift, open the heart space. Exhale to press back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in here, maybe again, finding a child's pose if you need, lowering down, taking those hips all the way back to the heels and taking a few breaths here. If you're still in your downward facing dog, absolutely fine, just pedaling out through the feet. Taking your time and noticing the alignment, noticing where you're switching on, noticing where you're pressing into the mat in the hands and the fingers. Just one more breath wherever you are, and finding your way back to your downward facing dog. We're going to move all the way back around. Let's take a deep breath in. Three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee in towards the heart space, step the foot between the palms. Let's find that low crescent lunge. Lower the back knee down. Let's open the heart space as we lift those fingertips all the way overhead. Being mindful of our back knee. If you have any knee issues, just taking the weight off that knee, not pressing it too deeply or too hard into the mat. And maybe even using a cushion or rolling up your mat under your back knee for these low crescent lunges. If you're comfortable here, maybe you focus on that slight back bend, lifting the heart space. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, our hands come down onto the inside of our left foot. Good, we start to tuck our back toes under, turning to the side of the mat, lowering the hips down, lengthening with the spine, and finding our Skandasana. Pressing that left elbow onto the inside of the knee to open it out and keep the spine nice and long. Then when you're ready, let's shift across. Hands can be on the floor, don't stress. Good, finding Skandasana on the other side. Now the foot of the leg that's nice and long can be flexed or it can be on the ground, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Then slowly, just starting to release, taking those hands to frame the
the front foot, pivoting the hips around, finding that low crescent lunge on the last side. Untucking those toes, lifting the arms high, opening the heart, letting the spine be long, and relaxing those shoulders. Deep breath in. Deep breath out to release. Hands coming down all the way to frame the front foot. Tucking the back toes under. Let's step back. Find your plank pose. And move through your chaturanga when you're ready. Taking your time. Good. Let's take a deep breath in our downward facing dog. When you get there, and as you exhale, just allowing the knees to come down, open them nice and wide. Sink the hips all the way back to the heels and find an extended child's pose. Allowing your heart space to sink down towards the ground, forehead to rest on the mat. Noticing the rate of your heart beating in your chest. Noticing the rhythm of your breath at this point in our practice. After so much movement, coming to rest a little and finding a little stillness. Starting to reach those fingertips forward on your inhale, lengthening the spine just a little bit more with each breath in. And then on the exhale, walking the hands all the way over to the right side of the mat, finding a little side stretch through the left side of the body. Again, think of lengthening the spine, reaching those fingertips away from the crown of the head with each breath in. And think about sinking those hips further back with each breath out, relaxing them down towards the earth. Let's take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's move all the way back through center with the hands. And lower the heart space all the way down. Yeah, finding that stretch through the right side of the body this time. Lengthening as we breathe in. Softening and sinking down as we breathe out. And just while we're here, starting to maybe notice coming back to that intention that you set at the beginning of the practice, noticing what that intention has maybe done for you in your practice today. Maybe noticing if you have completely let go of or forgotten about your intention. And if so, just bringing that back into your mind. Starting to gently come back to center when you're ready. Finding that extended child's pose and releasing the chest down. Focusing on that intention and what you need to do for the remainder of the class. in terms of your thinking, in terms of your actions or movement in the body, to really honor that intention that you set at the beginning of our practice today. So just ever so slowly starting to make your way up, walking the hands back towards the hips. Starting to shift the weight over to one side. And swivel those legs out in front. Starting to come down onto our backs. Making sure you have enough room on your mat. When you get down onto your back, just allowing the knees to drop from side to side. Noticing how your body's feeling. And then starting to pull the knees into the chest. As you pull the knees into the chest, we're reaching through on the insides of the knees with the arms to take a hold of the bottoms of the feet, the soles of the feet. So from the outsides of the feet, we begin to pull the knees down towards the mat on each side of the body, on each side of the torso. We're finding happy baby pose. So this may feel a little awkward if you haven't done this pose before, but what I want you to start to notice is how it feels in the hips, how it feels in the heart space, making sure that the shoulders are really nice and heavy instead of lifting the chest to be able to hold those knees further down. We need to relax everything in the spine, everything in the shoulders, the back of the neck, the back of the head, down towards the ground, and just softly pull on those knees on either side of the body. From here, we can just rock from side to side, slowly noticing the mat giving us a little massage on the lower back as we rock from side to side. And starting to, once again, as we lay here rocking from side to side, become aware of our breath and how it's moving through our body. Ever so slowly, when you feel ready, just allowing those knees to bend more and more, then the knees to come towards each other, letting go of those ankles, and just allowing those knees to make little circles in at the chest. Releasing from that happy baby pose. And making perhaps any other movements that you feel like you need to make before we find our Shavasana. And when you are completely ready, moving all the way down into your Shavasana, which perhaps today, if you feel like taking another little hip opening stretch, may be a Supta Baddha Konasana. And if you do have a pillow or a bolster that you are using in your practice, feeling free to place this pillow or bolster just behind the hips, and then laying the spine or the torso all the way over that bolster to find a slight back bend and open through the heart space while you're also opening through the hips. Finding yourself in this resting pose, whether that's your corpse pose or a Supta Baddha Konasana. And beginning to just allow this sense of relaxation washing over you. Feeling everything become heavier and heavier. The back of the head, the shoulders,
the hips and glutes, and the feet. And noticing everything in between starting to feel softer and softer. Releasing all of the muscles in your face. Letting yourself be expressionless. Letting the jaw be unclenched. And starting to notice that movement in the chest, just naturally, softly lifting and lowering with your breath. Relaxing your arms, hands, and fingers. And then noticing the belly, just gently lift and lower, again with the breath. Every part of the lower body becomes more and more heavy as you just breathe here. Hips sinking down, the glutes and the thighs nice and heavy if those knees are open. Just allowing gravity to help pull the knees further towards the floor. Relaxing all the way down to the ankles and the feet, all of your toes. And allowing yourself now to focus on just one thing happening in the present moment. Perhaps it's your breath. Perhaps it's a sensation that comes with the breath. Or perhaps it is the movement of air around you that you can feel on your skin. Allowing there to be nothing else for just a minute or so. Ever so slowly, just beginning to become aware of what
kind of experience you just had in your Shavasana. Perhaps noticing where your mind wandered off to, if it wandered off. Or if you were focusing on something in the present moment, noticing now how you feel in your body and in your mind after just focusing the mind in the present moment. And just slowly begin to notice again where you are in the room, noticing how the body is feeling. Noticing how you're feeling mentally and emotionally as we come to the end of our practice. And perhaps just noticing any shifts that you feel have taken place since the beginning of your practice today. Perhaps in this last portion of the class, in this relaxation, in this letting go and this silence, or perhaps through moving the body and getting that heart pumping and blood flowing and the breath moving through the body. So just when you feel ready, beginning to maybe move through the fingers and the toes, taking as much time as you need before you make any drastic movements, taking everything nice and slow, and keeping the eyes closed down if you're not quite ready. You might like to reach the arms above the head, lengthening out. You might like to drop the knees down to one side and then the other, starting to twist through the body. And then eventually coming all the way over onto one side and beginning to make your way up to a comfortable seat. When you find this comfortable seat, just closing those eyes down again, and we'll realign ourselves in that really long spine and really beautiful posture as we did at the beginning of the class. Starting to root down with the sit bones and just a gentle engagement of the core, just noticing the core even, just an awareness of the core rather than an engagement. A relaxed feeling through the shoulders as they pull down away from the ears, long through the back of the neck, spacious all the way up the spine. And just allowing yourself to revisit that intention. And perhaps if it feels like an intention that you might need to work more on throughout your day in other things off the mat, or something that you want to continue to work on because it feels really good, maybe perhaps choosing to take that intention with you throughout the rest of your day, or maybe the rest of your week. But for now, just bringing your palms together at the heart space and bowing your head in gratitude for this practice, and thanking yourself for making the time to practice today and sticking with it through to the end. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me for this class. And I hope that I see you soon. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. I hope that your hips and your heart space feel really good and open after our flow. And you enjoyed that movement and those deep crescent lunges as well. I am Rosie Lane. I would love to see you soon. Keep practicing, keep getting on your mat, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye everyone.